Hello guys, welcome back to another video. We'll be working on today's in the path with the introduction to cybersecurity, and in the introduction to cybersecurity we have last covered introduction to defensive security, and now we can move on to introduction to offensive security with web application security. So that will be the room which I'll be exploring today, which we'll be working on, and we'll check it out how the workflow goes over here. And I believe there's only not much more task here, only introduction, web application security risk, and practical example of web application security. So let's just start with the introduction. How the introduction works task. Every one of us uses different program on our computers. Generally speaking, program run on our computer using our computer's process power and storage. Moreover, to use a program, we need to install it first. What if we can use any program without installation? Yes, like you can run any application without installing it, but you need to have a browser access for that one. So like I'm using a TryHackMe here, so you don't need to install TryHackMe in your box. So that's how it works. So without installing any application, you can work with any application in the browser, right? So a web application like a program that we can use without installation as long as we have a modern standard web browser. So like Firefox, such as Safari, Chrome, any application, any browser, so that you can have an access. And consequently, instead of installing every program, you only need to browse the related page. Like I'm browsing TryHackMe, or like I'm browsing anything which if you want to start any meeting, you just don't need to install. Just an example I'm telling. You just don't need to install Google Meet, right? You just need to work on the browser. So that goes, you get an access, you get a link, and you can start your own meeting. You don't have to have an application in your system, right? That's how it works. You only need to have a browser, that related page. And the following are the examples of web applications that it says. Webmail such as Tutan and Actu, Proton Mail, Outlook, and Gmail. Yes, those kind of things. And Gmail is also one of the good example, I believe. Like you don't need to go for the installing application for that one. For Gmail, you just with the browser itself you can access it, right? Online office suites such as Microsoft Office 365, and a lot of good examples here. And the Google Drive, you can see doc sheets, slides, everything you can do with the Google Drives. And with the Zoho Office, write, sheet, and show anything if you want with the documentation. Online shopping such as Amazon, Alibaba Express, anything, Nika, a lot of things, whatever you comes in the mind. So whatever you need to get access, you need to put a link properly for that one. So you just start with the access. You can run any program, any application over the browser. Thousands of more examples provide a myriad of services. Other examples include online banking, money transfer, weather forecast, and social media. A lot much more thing. If you dig deeper down into that one, so you can have a lot of access. And online banks also work. Cryptocurrency also, for just transaction, for every kind of wallets, everything, you just need to have a browser. So we'll just come back to the idea of web application is that it is a program running on a remote server. A server refers to a computer system running continuously to serve the clients. In this case, I believe the server will run a specific type of program that can be accessed by a web browser. Exactly. Consider an online shopping application. The web application will read the data about the products and their details from a database server. A database is used to store the information in an organized way. Examples include information about products, customers, and invoices. A database server is responsible for any function. Like, if you're using any application, any browser, there you will search for any application, right? So just think about the login page. So while you're logging into any Facebook, Instagram or Twitter, anywhere, so you need to provide your credentials first. You need to register. So whatever you have registered, so that goes back to the database system. So where all those credentials has been stored, the database. Yes, like MySQL, PHP, a lot of database languages are there. So then they will make the database, and then they will connect with this browser. So then they will connect with the server. So the collaboration goes to the server to the database. If you have a system, if you're trying to connect to the database, then you need to go through with the server, just like the server. So this will be the server. Believe me, this is the server which is running with the name of Facebook. And if you go there, so whatever you put here, whatever the data which you used here, whatever the password which you put, so that goes back to the database, that there it has been stored. So that's how it's work, the database system. Okay, let's come back to the point here where we were. Examples including customers, invoice, services for many actions. Okay, the online shopping web application might need more than one databases to access. For example, product databases, customer databases, sale databases. So like like other kinds of databases, they will be required for an online shopping website. So this database contains details about the products such as name, images, specifications and prices. So only products contain the name, images, specifications and the prices. And when we come back to the customer databases, it contains all details related to the customer such as name, addresses, email and phone number. So which is totally related to the customer data, right? When we come back to the sales databases, we expect to see what each customer has purchased and how they paid in these databases, right? So we can already see the amount of information stored in any online shopping system. Suppose an attacker manages to exploit the web application, right, and steal the customers' databases. In that case, this will lead to a significant loss for company and its customer. So that will be the biggest loss in the company whenever the databases goes in the hacker's hands. The image below shows searching for an item on an online shopping. Let's just come back to the image section here. Yeah, the image shows searching for an item on an online shopping site. In the simple version, the search will take 4 steps. The user enters an item name and relevant keywords. In the search field, the web browser sends a search keyword to the online shopping web applications. The web applications queries the products, the databases for the submitted keywords. The product databases returns the search result matching the provided keywords to the web application. The web application formats the result as a friendly web page and returns them to the user. So whenever you try to search a single database from a system, so the first step will go with the item search and it hits the traffic to the server. So what server does is it will identify which kind of databases you are asking for. If you are asking for the product database, then it goes to search with this database here. So if you are asking anything related to the customer database, then it will ask to the customer database. Then whatever the database will be, so the database will send whatever the required information was being asked from the server, right? So second process goes back to the searching databases. Then again databases will send the search results. Then the search results will come back to the server. Then again server will send you the result page. That is the biggest step. But if you see, there are 4 steps are going around here. But inside again a lot of protocols will be taken. ICMP protocol, TCP protocols, UDP protocols while connecting to those servers to the databases. But it will be taken in a half of a second or just in 2 seconds. If you see, when I went back to the Facebook and just clicked the pages, right? So how much time it will take for you to log in? Just 2 seconds or 1 second, might be half second if you have a good internet connection, right? So that's how the speed works. Even if you have to connect with a lot of databases, it will connect you definitely in a small time. Doesn't require for the longer, much more time to just search your databases, search whatever the item you're searching for, right? Or like if you go to the Amazon and if you search for any product, if you search for any product like kind of related to computers or related to servers, anything, if you're searching for a RAM, if you need to buy, then if you search for a RAM, particularly for my system, okay, the RAM shows up suddenly. How the database searches. That's how the scenario here works. And coming back to this section, from the user perspective, they will only access an elegant online shopping shop where all the technical infrastructure is hidden. Yes, definitely that has been totally hidden. Many companies offer a bug bounty programs. If you don't heard of the bug bounty program, search for the bug bounty hunting programs, or if you are a CTF player, you know exactly what you mean by bug bounty programs, right? A bug bounty programs allows the company to offer a reward for anyone who discovers a security vulnerability. So if I'm just a bug bounty hunter. If I try to exploit any servers, so that company can pay for me. Okay, you have exploited our system or exploited our vulnerabilities, so you made us found a weakness, so the company will pay you after that one. So that's how the bug bounty program works. The main condition is that the found vulnerability is within the bug bounty scope and rules. So there are a set of rules has been set up by the company. So you can't just go to any server and exploit it. You have to go with the access. There's like many websites who host the bug bounty programs, like HackerOne, one of them, and I don't quite remember. HackerOne is a good one, I believe. So if you search for the HackerOne, those there you have to go with the company. So whatever a company paying for the exploits, then you have to find the exploits. Then you need to make application, properly reports for those, how you hacked the system, how you found the vulnerabilities in the system. Among many others, Google, Microsoft, and Facebook have bug bounty programs. So if you don't know, Google is also paying for that one, Microsoft, along with the Facebook. Discovering a bug can earn you from a few hundred USD to tens of thousands of USDs, depending on how the bug you have found, how much the big weakness you have found in the system. The weakness you discovered, that is, and here's a question for our task 1. So what do you need to access a web application? Definitely a browser. Then that is the correct answer. Then let's just go back to the task 1. Okay, web application security risks. Let's say that you want to buy an item from an online shop. There are certain functions that you would expect to be able to do on this web application. Most straightforwardly, the online order might go as follows. Log into a website, search for the product, add the product to the shopping cart, specify the shipping addresses, provide payment details. A lot of steps will go in between those things. There are a few main categories of common attacks against web applications. Consider the following steps and related attacks. So log in at the website. The attacker can try to discover the password by trying many words, and you need that's kind of brute forcing attack. The attacker would use a long list of password with an automated tool to set them against in the login page. Search for the product. The attacker can attempt to breach the system by adding specific characters and codes to the search term. The attacker's objective is for the target system to return the data. It should not or execute a program. It should not execute the program. So if the search bar, if you have seen in the search bar in the any Amazon or kind of any product related to buying stuff, then you go back to the search. Okay, there is a search bar. So if you try to search a relevant information, that has to be shown there. If you try to run a program, if you have reverse shell kind of programs, if you run there, then if it's executing, then there is exploit, right? So search bar is also having a biggest problem along with the logins. And provide payment details. The attackers would check if the payment details are sent in the clear text or using weakness encryption. Encryption refers to making the database unreadable without knowing the secret or key or password. Anything. We cannot cover everything, but we will present a few formal categories from the OWASP top 10s. So don't worry if these technique use sounds alien to you. TryHackMe walks through you each and every step. Yeah. Identification or authentication failure. And what is that exactly it does? Identification refers to the ability to identify a user uniquely. In contrast, authentication refers to the ability to prove that the user is whom they claims to be. The online shop must confirm the user's identity and authentication before they can use the system. However, this step is prone to different types of weaknesses. Example, the weaknesses includes allowing the attacker to use the brute force. That is the main thing. Try many passwords as possible, usually using the automated tools to find valid login credentials. So there's a lot of set of brute forcing attacks so that they can try on this, allowing the users to choose a weak password. A weak password is usually easy to guess. So if you trying to be brute forcing, that only weak passes can only take 10 seconds or 10 minutes or 20 minutes itself. If you have a good if the attacker has a good system, and if they have running a high GPU systems, then they can crack it in 1 second itself if you are using a weak password. So you have to be careful while setting up the passwords, right? Storing the user's password in a plain text. Oh, that is the main thing. If the attackers manages to read the file containing the password, we don't want them to be able to learn the stored password, right? And that's how the databases works. The database shows the user, stores the username and the password with the two different categories. And you can see there's passwords with the usernames. So if you have been setting these kind of passwords, be careful with those things. Broken access control. Access control ensures that the user can only access files related to their role or work. For example, you don't want someone in the marketing department to access the read in the finance department documents. Example, vulnerabilities related to access control, including failing to apply the principle, and there are three broken access steps. So failing to apply the principle of the least privilege and giving users more access permissions than they need. For example, an online customer should be able to view the price of the item, but they should not be able to change them. Okay, if someone can change the customer data, if someone can change the the price of the product, then there should be a problem, right? They should only have to have a view access, not the write access. Being able to view or modify someone else's account by using its unique identifier. For example, you don't want one bank client to able to view the transactions of other client. Being able to browse pages that requires authentications. As an unauthenticated user, for example, we cannot let anyone view the webmail before logging in. So definitely that is the main 3 steps. So that has been broken access control measures. Injections. An injection attack refers to a vulnerability in the web application where the users can insert malicious code as part of their input. One cause of this vulnerability is the lack of proper validation and sanitization of the user's endpoint. Cryptographic failures. There comes the last thing, I believe. Yes. In the cryptographic failures, this cryptographic refers to the failures related to the cryptography. And cryptography focuses on the processes of the encryption and the decryption of the data. Encryption scrambles clear text into the ciphertext, so which should be gibberish to anyone who does not have the secret key to decrypt it. In other words, encryption ensures that no one can read the data without knowing the secret key. And the decryption converts the ciphertext back into the original clear text using the secret key. Example of the cryptographic failures including some of the cryptographic failures is also there, like the broken access control. That's how the cryptographic failures also occurs. Sending sensitive data in the clear text, for example using HTTP instead of HTTPS. HTTP is the protocol used to access the web, while the HTTPS is a secure version of HTTPS. Other can reach everything you send over HTTP, but not HTTPS. Like if you see, there is a SSL connected to this website, so that's why this is a HTTPS website. So if I click on this and put back here, you can see there is a HTTPS. So these are the secure websites. If you see somewhere which is yes is not there, then there should be a problem with those, browsing websites. Relying on a weak cryptographic algorithm. One old cryptographic algorithm is to shift each letter by one. For instance, is TryHackMe becomes UZL, IBDVL. For example, this cryptographic algorithm is a trivial to break. So that might be the problem if you can break it. Using default or a weak keys for cryptographic function, it won't be challenging to break the encryption that used 1234 as a secret key. So that there won't be a challenge for them. For a hacker, they can totally, encrypt any key if you are putting in a plain text or a plain numbers. So that you have to be careful about it, the passwords and the cryptographic failures. Don't worry if these techniques looks challenging, sophisticated the first time. TryHackMe and the dedicated in the depth of the rooms to help you understand experience with various attacks against the web applications. And we come back to the answer in the question below. You discovered that the login page allows unlimited number of login attempts without trying to slow down the user or lock account. What is the category of this security? So without, wait a second. Let me explain with the first one. You discovered that the login page allows an unlimited number of login attempts. That sounds like a brute force. Brute force is not being set up without trying to slow down the user or the lock account. So that goes back to the identification and authentication failure. So brute force that can allow as many as possible tries, and that can totally be an identification failure. Okay, that is the correct answer. Okay, let's come back to the second question. You notice that the username and the password are sent in the clear text without encryption. What is the category of this risk? What might be the category of that risk? Let's just check it. I think that is cryptographic failures. Yes. I don't remember that properly, but let's just check with this. Yeah, it's exactly the cryptographic failures. And there we completed our second task and the third task. There is a website here, we have to check with that one, and there is a flag. What we get to do here, practice example of web application security. This task will investigate a vulnerable website that users. Okay, let me tell you guys, you can read all onto this and you can understand how the application security works. So let's just go back to this. I'll show you with the website view. So I'll guide you how to get the flag and how to answer those questions. If you want to totally understand, you can go through with this process. You can go through with all the theory part here. Okay, there is a website here. Okay, it looks like a website related to buying and selling. This inventory management system manages all the shipments related to tires. The competitors sent a group of malicious actors to sabotage our logistics. The attackers used the account of one of the employees and mixed up the planned shipment. If the incorrect shipments are sent, the production will be delayed. Okay. So I believe there is a shipment has been disassembled. There is also a inventory here, so that you can see. So with the description, there is a SKU. I think that is looks like a tag for this for these inventories. And okay, there's a profile also there. Inventory management system. Your activity, employee ID 11. And that shows here how to exploit this website. That all goes back to here, how we can exploit it. I think I can tell you example of web application here. Warehouse supervisor. Let's just go back to here. What it's telling is there is an inventory. If you send a mixed up planned shipments, if the incorrect shipments are sent, the production will be delayed, right? So you have to check if the incorrection bike assembly is there. In that category, winter scooter, okay, that is not related to bike assembly. Sport motorcycle tires. So there is a mismatch here. And scooter assembly, sport ride tires, sport motorcycle tires, motorcycle assembly, mountain bike tires, racing students. So okay, if you can see here, there is a mismatch here. So in the motorcycle, mountain bikes tires are sending. So you have to check who has done this activity, and you have to revert these 6 settings, I believe. Yes. Then if you go back here with this URL, the manage activity and the users tab, let me just try putting this one. Oh, okay, that's how the vulnerability works here. So the user shouldn't have access to other user access. So that is a web application security, and that has been explained here. So if you are trying to if you are in a website with this address, and if you try to change the user ID at the end, so if you get an access, there is an exploit. So there is an application has a vulnerability inside of that one. And if you can click on the website, let's see in this action, you will see a page showing an inventory management system. If you click on the planned shipment tab, that's what it's explained. You will discover that an attacker has managed to mix things up as a part of sabotage plans. Okay, there is a plan going on here. Notice how they send the wrong ties to each assembly. That's how it looks here when we checked it, For instances, they assigned scooter tires and motorcycle tires to bike assembly. If left unfixed, all tires will go to the wrong assembly. We will hack the system back and undo the attacker steps. On your activity, you can see the activity of one of the users. We have the reason to believe that this website has an IDOR vulnerability. So IDOR vulnerability is there. That's how it works. So the IDOR vulnerability will be like this. If I'm putting everything with the number, if I'm putting 2, then social photo, yes. So we have to find out, if you can see here in the profile tab, you can see there's no recent activity. So I need to find the person who is handling this one, who is having an activity. So attacker got an access to that person's credentials. So he might be trying with that. Okay, no recent activity. Okay, no user found with this ID. 5, no user found. 6, no user found. 7, user found with no recent activity. User found with no recent activity. Okay. User found, but with the but with the user activity. So the Alia has an access of database administrator. So she got hacked so that someone has used her account and made the changes in between the shipment in the planned shipment. So you just, if you click on the revert button, I believe you can revert all the settings here. Okay, Alia fixed the inventory management system. So there you got your, I believe you can close this off. I got the flag here. You put the flag. Okay, you have completed the room. Congratulations. Okay, that's how it, guys. I believe this video will cover up with this one only, and I'll be covering in the next video on operating system security and everything on other things in the introduction to cybersecurity. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being patient with me. And I believe in the last video there was a such of lot of theoretical section going around. So we're going to explore by one. When we go to the next steps, we can explore a lot of boxes. We'll look into it after completing this path. So if you want to check with other, if you want to know other parts, so if you want to learn with the other parts, tell me about it in the comment section though, so that I can create a video on those things. So that's all from my side. Thank you, guys. Okay, so I'm closing this session by right now. Okay, please like, share and subscribe, whatever you do, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you.